Please welcome IACP past presidents, their spouses, and guests. Sylvester Daughtry Jr. and Millicent Daughtry. John and Mitzi Wetzel. David and Bonnie Walchuk. Ronald and Sally Neubauer. William and Denise Berger. Ronald Ricker. Russell Lane. Yost Zachary. Richard and Carrie Berry. Honorary Past President Harlan McEwen. Please welcome our host, Commissioner Richard Ross. And now, please welcome the IACP Executive Board and their spouses and guests. Parliamentarian and Honorary President Ronald Serpus. Incoming Parliamentarian Michael and Mary Jane Caldwell. General Chair of the Division of State and Provincial Police, Tracy Trott. General Chair of the Division of State Associations of Chiefs of Police, Timothy Lowry and Laurie Lowry. Incoming General Chair of the Mid-Sized Agencies Division, David Rausch. General Chair of the Mid-Sized Agencies Division, Paul Williams. Incoming International Vice President, Ellison Greenslade and Kimberly Greenslade. International Vice President, Patrick Stevens. Incoming Vice President Treasurer, Ken Walker and Rebecca Walker. Vice President at Large, Wade Carpenter. Vice President at Large, Richard Smith. Incoming Fourth Vice President and Vice President Treasurer, Dwight Henninger, accompanied by Melanie Perlman. Fourth Vice President, Cynthia Renaud. Third Vice President, Stephen Kestevens and P.T. Kestevens. Second Vice President, Paul Sell. First Vice President, Louis Deckmar and Carmen Deckmar. Immediate Past President, Deputy Executive Director, Terence Cunningham and Megan Cunningham. IACP Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Vincent Tolucci. And now, please welcome your IACP President, Donald DeLuca and Terry DeLuca.
Welcome to the IACP 2017 Annual Banquet. It gives me an honor to inform you that this conference is the 6th most attended conference in our 124-year conference history. We know this is going to be a whole new experience for some of you, and for those who have attended before, you get a new experience too. This year, we're presenting our IACP Leadership Awards as part of our Banquet program. There are 15 awards in total, and there are some awards with multiple winners, which means there are a lot of winners waiting backstage right now. Let's take a closer look at those 15 categories now.
Tonight, for the first time in IACP history, we come together to celebrate all of the IACP Leadership Award winners in one recognition ceremony. The IACP Award Program provides law enforcement around the world an opportunity to recognize achievement and share promising practices. The men, women, and agencies that will be recognized tonight are innovators, problem solvers, and leaders. They work tirelessly to improve their agencies and the communities they serve. These individuals and agencies represent some of the best in law enforcement. These winners are advancing the profession in many areas. For additional details about the awards, please refer to the Banquet program. Tonight, we recognize great achievement, outstanding leadership, and steadfast dedication. Congratulations to the 2017 IACP Award winners.
As you just saw, the awards recognize that good police work is much more than solving crimes. So now that we understand the categories, let's meet the winners.
The IACP 3M Leadership in Looking Beyond the License Plate Award. Presented by David Poynton, Business Manager of Government Affairs for 3M Transportation Safety Division. The winner is Sergeant Gregory Klee with the Ontario Provincial Police. Congratulations, Sergeant Klee, and thank you, 3M, for sponsoring this award. The IACP American Military University Leadership in Civilian Law Enforcement Military Cooperation Award. Presented by Dave Malone, American Military University Law Enforcement Business Development Manager. The winners are Fort Campbell Provost Marshal Office, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And the winners unable to be with us tonight are Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Montgomery County, Tennessee, and Clarksville Police Department, Clarksville, Tennessee. Congratulations to our winners, and thank you, American Military University, for sponsoring this award. The IACP August Vollmer Leadership in Forensic Sciences Award. The winner is the Columbian National Institute of Legal Medicine and Forensic Science, Columbia. Congratulations. The IACP Body-Worn Leadership in Law Enforcement Volunteer Programs Award. Presented by Anthony Baldoni, Body-Worn by Utility Chief Operating Officer. The winners are the Sarasota Police Department, Sarasota, Florida, and the Port St. Lucie Police Department, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Congratulations, winners, and thank you, Body Worn, for sponsoring this award. The IACP Booz Allen Hamilton Leadership in the Prevention of Terrorism Award. Presented by Bob Sugigian, Booz Allen Hamilton, Vice President. The winners are the Washington Field Office, Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office, Leesburg, Virginia, and the Virginia State Police. Congratulations to all, and thank you to Booz Allen Hamilton for sponsoring this award. The IACP Chief David Cameron Leadership in Environmental Crimes Award. The winner is Homeland Security Investigations, U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Houston, Texas. The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, agencies serving a population under 20,000. Presented by retired Chief Desmond Rassico, Cisco's Senior Advisor for Public Safety and Defense. The winner is Allwine Police Department, Allwine, Iowa. The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, agencies serving a population of 20,001 to 50,000. The winner is Monrovia Police Department, Monrovia, California. The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, agencies serving a population of 50,001 to 100,000. The winner is Roanoke Police Department, Roanoke, Virginia. The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, agencies serving a population of 100,001 to 250,000. The winner is Fujairah Police General Headquarters, Minister of Interior, United Arab Emirates.
The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, agencies serving a population over 250,000.
The winner is Arlington Police Department, Arlington, Texas.
The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, Best Use of Technology in Support of Community Policing Initiatives, Special Recognition.
The winner is Halton Regional Police Service, Ontario, Canada.
The IACP Cisco Leadership in Community Policing Award, Special Homeland Security Recognition.
The winner is Office of Superintendent of Police, Basta, India. Congratulations to all of our Leadership in Community Policing Award winners, and thank you to Cisco for sponsoring this award.
The IACP J. Stannard Baker Leadership in Highway Safety Award, Other category.
The winner is Retired Assistant Commissioner Arthur Anderson, California Highway Patrol.
The IACP J. Stannard Baker Leadership in Highway Safety Award, State Policing.
The winner is Colonel Stephen Flaherty, Virginia State Police Superintendent. Congratulations to both of our winners.
The IACP Laura and John Arnold Foundation Leadership in Law Enforcement Research Award.
The winners are the Arlington Police Department, Arlington, Texas, Walmart Corporation, Bentonville, Arkansas, and Corrective Education Company, Orem, Utah. Congratulations, winners, and thank you to the Laura and John Arnold Foundation for sponsoring this award.
The IACP Leadership in Human and Civil Rights Award for the agency, program, or project.
The winner is the Sarasota Police Department, Sarasota, Florida. The IACP Leadership in Human and Civil Rights Award for Individual Achievement. The winner is Dee Dee Nelson, Law Enforcement Coordination Manager, United States Attorney's Office, Northern District of Georgia. Congratulations to our winners in both categories. The IACP Leadership in Police Aviation Award. The winner is the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, Aviation Section, Florida. The IACP Leadership in the Prevention of Vehicle Crimes Award. The winner is the Virginia State Police. Congratulations to our winner. The IACP Leadership in Victim Services Award, Small Agency. The winner is Virginia Commonwealth University Police, Richmond, Virginia. The IACP Leadership in Victim Services Award, Large Agency. The winner is Vancouver Police Department, Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Congratulations to both winners. The IACP Security Industry Association Michael Shanahan Leadership in Public-Private Cooperation Award. Presented by Ronald Hawkins, Security Industry Association, Director of Industry Relations. The winners are Arlington Police Department, Arlington, Texas, and Walmart Corporation, Bentonville, Arkansas. Congratulations, And thank you, Security Industry Association, for sponsoring this award. The IACP Thomson Reuters Award for Excellence in Criminal Investigations. Presented by Daniel DeSimone, FBI retired and Senior Director, Thomson Reuters. The winner is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Thank you, Thomson Reuters, for sponsoring this award, and congratulations to all of our award winners this evening.
Award presentations are always a great moment for the recipients, but they remind us all about the strengths of our membership. Tonight, we honor people who've shown leadership, a commitment to their communities, and excellence in police work. That's what helps us find solutions for a safer society. Join me in congratulating all of our award recipients tonight. It is just about time for dinner, so please join me in welcoming Philadelphia Police Chaplain, Deacon Frank Krangle, to provide the blessing.
Let's look to God. Lord, as we come before you right now, we give you honor, praise, and glory. Lord, we ask that you remember every law enforcement official, bless every head. Lord, bless every department. And Lord, we ask right now that you bless the food used for the nourishment of our natural bodies and continue to strengthen us and protect every police officer as they go about their duties. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Krangle. We'll begin the remainder of our program after dinner. In the meantime, enjoy your meal.
And now, please welcome back the President of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, Donald DeLuca.
It takes a tremendous amount of effort to make our annual conference and exposition the world's foremost gathering of police leaders. Without the support of all our partners and sponsors, none of this would be possible. But we'd like to offer special recognition to the Platinum supporters of this conference. When your name is called, please come join me on stage to receive your award.
Platinum partners. We begin with Axon, whose representatives were unable to be here tonight to receive this award. Amy Houston, Director, Chief of Staff, AT&T FirstNet. Tracy Kimbo, Marketing Director, North America Public Safety, Motorola Solutions. And Platinum sponsors, Michael Donlan, Vice President, U.S. State and Local Government, Microsoft. Tom Turner, Senior Business Development Director, NEC Corporation of America. Brian Pagels, Director, Public Safety Sales, Superion.
Everyone, let's please show our appreciation to these Platinum partners and sponsors with a round of applause. Before I hand over the mantle, I have a few words. In one of the most poignant pieces written about police officers, Lieutenant John Morrison of the San Diego Police Department, speaking about two of his officers killed in the line of duty, described what police officers do daily as walking the point for their communities. Walking the point, he described, ages, saddens, and wisens, and even sometimes kills those taking their turn to walk the point. My journey this past year has given me a front row seat to the truth of Lieutenant Morrison's words. At IACP, we are blessed to continually see the best of our profession as it walks the point. To dedicated, passionate leaders in the field who daily move their organizations forward and often against great resistance. To officers in the field courageously serving and willingly placing themselves in harm's way, braving natural disasters to save a life, running to gunfire to stop a gunman, the countless acts of heroism we witness daily across the globe. But even more compelling are the acts of kindness and compassion, the human moments when a police officer opens their heart in a moment of human generosity and gentleness, touches the soul of their fellow man. I have witnessed people and communities coming together in tragedy and grief to put aside their differences and embrace their humanity. To place humanness above personal agendas is the deepest reflection of community, and at times in this past year, coming together as a global community. This past year has been one of the most rewarding and humbling of my professional life, a journey that has been insightful, challenging, adventurous, and most of all, a great honor and privilege. No one does anything in life alone. I am forever grateful to all of you who are not only with me on this journey, but helped me along the way. Our association is blessed to have engaged, passionate, and dedicated team that works diligently to support our efforts and deserves to be recognized far more than we do. A heartfelt thank you to the entire IACP team, led by our CEO, Vince Tolucci, and our Deputy Executive Director, Terry Cunningham. I thank you to all our past presidents for your service and continued support of the IACP. And yes, I'm very much looking forward to joining all of you in just a few minutes. To our incoming president, Lou Dekmar, I could not be more excited for you in the IACP. As I pass you the baton, I know the IACP is in great hands with a leader who will bring us the courage, wisdom, and heart that you have demonstrated as one of our nation's transformational police chiefs. I wish for you the best in the coming year. And some special thank yous to my family, Terry, our children, Sean, Lauren, Lindsay, and the grandkids. Thank you for the sincerest things. your love and encouragement, not just this past year, but during my career. To my brother Mike, who's sitting over there, who's looked out for me my entire life, thank you. To all my dear friends here tonight, you know who you are, thank you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't just mention a few more people. To my mentor, dear friend, and the person who's taught me so much about leadership in life, Michael Neela. To Tony Martin, my best friend in the world, thank you. To my Doral family, and let me start with our mayor, Juan Carlos Bermudez, who's been extremely supportive of me and our department this entire past year. Thank you. And here tonight with me is my Vice Mayor, Pete Cabrera, an outstanding man who supported me and our agency all along. Vice Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. To Councilwoman Claudia Mariaca, who just joined our council but is truly engaged in our police department, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support of our police department. We're honored to work with you. And also to Councilwomen Fraga and Rodriguez, who couldn't be here, thank you for everything. And especially, more important, thank you for supporting our department. To my Deputy Chief, Brian Slyman, the gatekeeper of DPD, a special thank you. I know it's been a long year, my friend. I owe you a debt of gratitude. To the command staff and the men and women of the Doral Police Department, thank you so very much. I love you all. A special thank you to Lily Delgado, my executive assistant, for always being there for me. And lastly, to the best city manager anybody could have, my boss, Eddie Rojas, and Deputy City Manager Al Childress. Thank you for bringing me to the great city in 2014, and more so, thank you for your continuous support. The Office of Chief of Police, many aspire to that seat, but very few will actually get there and experience the incredible responsibility, the 24/7, 365 days a year focus, the burden of safety and well-being of an entire community, and the love, care, and safety a chief must have for the men and women called to serve and protect under the most dangerous and adverse of conditions. I've been blessed to be a chief now in 3 departments, all very different, but the leadership role and challenge remains the same. We are nurturers, servants, and guardians of the men and women in our charge and the communities in our care. I've always loved policing, always loved those I've had the privilege to lead. But this year has given me a deeper appreciation for how much we need each other, how much every chief needs from so many. I remain convinced even more that our success will be grounded in our collective energies, united in purpose and intention, and the belief that we are our brothers and sisters' keepers. The 12th century theologian John of Salisbury said it best. We are like dwarfs sitting on the shoulders of giants. We see more and things that are more distant than they did, not because we are taller than they, but because they raise us up and by their great stature add to ours. I came to IACP to serve, but in that service I received a sacred gift. Thank you for raising me up, and God bless. In order to initiate the proceedings for the swearing in of our new executive board, I call upon the IACP parliamentarian, my dear friend, honorary president, Dr. Ronald Serpas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Indulge me one point of personal privilege. Please stand with me again and thank Don for an amazing year as president of the IACP. Thank you very, very, very much. Don, I just want to be one of the many who are going to congratulate you for your career, for your leadership, and for your commitment to our organization. Ladies and gentlemen, as IACP parliamentarian, it gives me great pleasure to conduct the swearing-in ceremonies for this year's Executive Board. For this purpose, I ask the following officers to assemble center stage and address their attention to fellow delegates in the audience. First, immediate past President Donald DeLuca, Chief of the Doral, Florida Police Department. First Vice President Paul Sell, Chief of the Montclair State University, New Jersey Police Department. Second Vice President Stephen Castevens, Chief of the Buffalo Grove, Illinois Police Department. Third Vice President Cynthia Renaud, Chief of the Folsom, California Police Department. Fourth Vice President, elected today, Dwight Henninger, Chief of the Vail, Colorado Police Department. Vice President at Large, Richard Smith, Chief of the Wayfield, Massachusetts Police Department. Vice President at Large, Wade Carpenter, Chief of Police, Park City, Utah Police Department. New Vice President Treasurer, Ken Walker, Chief of Police, West University Place, Texas. General Chair of the IACP Division of State Association of Chiefs of Police, Timothy Lowry, Chief of the Florissant, Missouri Police Department. General Chair of the IACP Division of State and Provincial Police, Colonel Tracy Trott, Tennessee Highway Patrol. General Chair of the IACP Midsize Agencies Division, David Roush, Chief of the Knoxville, Tennessee Police Department. International Vice President Ellison Greenslade, Commissioner of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. And new parliamentary Michael Caldwell, General Counsel for the Georgia Association of Chiefs of Police. What a good-looking crew, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, please face your colleagues and distinguished guests in the audience. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and rules of the International Association of Chiefs of Police, and I will, to the best of my ability, carry out the duties and responsibilities of the office to which I have been elected. So help me God. Congratulations and best wishes for a most successful year.
Thanks, brother. Means a lot coming from you. Congratulations to all the members of the Executive Board. And now, I'd like to ask Lou Dekmar, Chief of the LaGrange, Georgia Police Department, to join me on stage, along with his son, Chris Dekmar, who will present the President's ring.
I guess you get it. Thank you. I would appreciate it at this time if Justice Kittredge would come forward with the South Carolina Supreme Court.
Chief, raise your right hand, please, sir. I, Louis M. Deckmar, do solemnly swear
I, Lewis M. Deckmar, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the rules of the International Association of Chiefs of Police,
and the rules of the International Association of Chiefs of Police,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
carry out the duties and responsibilities of the office of President.
carry out the duties and responsibilities of the office of President.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Justice Kittredge, thank you for taking time away from your full schedule to join us this evening. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge my family, my lovely wife of going on 80, my son Chris, and my daughter Kathy. And of course, all of us that are in policing know that we are only as effective as the individuals that we work for. And I'm blessed to work for elected officials that have only one demand on me and any other department head, and that's provide quality service to our citizens. So I'd like to acknowledge them and ask them to please stand along with my city manager. Please join me in recognizing their contribution. And finally, I'd like to also recognize the folks that really make the police department run. That's the men and women, sworn and civilian, some that are here today, mostly command staff, many that are not, and thank them for their commitment to service. Would you please stand so we can acknowledge you? And as we all know, the effectiveness of policing is based on partnerships. And I think a significant demonstration of that partnership is to have my sheriff and chief deputy here also. Would you stand so I can thank you? And as I said the other night at the Target Affair, I have way too many friends and supporters that made my appearance here this evening, far too many to name. But I would like to extend and acknowledge the appreciation I have for the IACP staff, who each year do an outstanding job supporting the board of directors and our 30,000 members. In addition to organizing all aspects of this conference, please join me in acknowledging their commitment. Finally, I want to commend Don DeLuca's service and leadership as the IACP president this past year. Please join me once again in thanking Don for his contributions and commitment. My favorite philosopher, Dr. Seuss, penned, "You have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself in any direction you choose." For 125 years, the IACP has significantly steered the direction of the police profession in ways that support our 30,000 police leaders representing over 150 nations. Since the late 1800s, IACP has been the gold standard in training, leadership development, management models that are recognized and adopted throughout the law enforcement world. And as our issues continue to change, the opportunities to steer our profession continue as well. A particular change we've seen in the last several decades is the role that's been thrust upon the police in addressing social problems. From metropolitan cities and hamlets in Europe and Asia to the Americas, social and public health challenges by default have become police matters. Our officers work in society's darkest places with individuals that are troubled and lead chaotic lives. In many instances, these citizens are affected by substance abuse, homelessness, and mental illness. During meetings in the Caribbean, Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, I've learned that these social issues are confronted by our police officers on almost every continent, and frequently occur in impoverished areas where residents are regular targets of crime and disorder. And on occasion, in the course of the police providing service and protecting their community, we may have to respond to resistance. Contrary to the narratives, the use of force by the police in arrest situations is an uncommon occurrence. Primarily, our officers are problem solvers, maintaining order and keeping the peace, referring troubled individuals to agencies for services and resolving issues confronting our citizens. In situations where proper police authority is met with aggression, use of force encounters are fast-moving and dynamic. And we all agree, in cases where the police act unlawfully, they should be held accountable. But an unspoken result of these citizen contacts and arrests, in the US alone, almost 50,000 officers are assaulted annually. 10,000 are assaulted feloniously. In my view, our officers exercise significant restraint during most of these difficult encounters. Historically, many of the use of force incidents covered by the media lack context. Absent are the details necessary for the public to understand how these tragic events occur. And in too many instances, the result is a failed public policy. Issues not of our making, but leadership demands we address them. The use of force challenges faced by the police in dealing with those affected by mental illness is an example of failed public policy. In 1960, when we were a country of 150 million, we had over 600,000 treatment beds for those affected by mental illness. Today, a country of 330 million, and less than 6,000 beds are available for treatment. Today, the largest provider of mental health treatment is the Department of Corrections. County jails are number 2. The 3 largest facilities in the US that treat mental illness: New York City's Riker Island Jail, the Cook County Jail in Chicago, and the Los Angeles County Jail. As a matter of public policy, our society has criminalized mental illness. Research consistently finds 25% of those persons killed by the police were affected by mental illness. The facts and incidents that confront the police in the US are similar throughout the world. Indeed, internationally, we know in some cases those affected by mental illness are recruited for terrorism. The story that's frequently untold: people shot by the police were previously taken to the hospital by the police for treatment 3, 5, 8, or more times before that fatal encounter. Recognizing this as an international issue, the IACP developed the One Mind campaign. The One Mind campaign asks agencies to commit to identify and partner with the mental health resources in their community. With those partners, written directives are developed to address how police agencies will handle individuals with mental illness. And most important, the One Mind campaign seeks a commitment to provide specific training for all police personnel on the handling of persons affected by mental illness. As president, I will continue to promote this critical program, and I encourage every agency, regardless of size, to take the One Mind pledge and enroll in this important initiative. Another issue in need of increased focus by IACP: the victimization of at-risk adults. Presently, the global population of people aged 60 years and older will more than double from 1 billion today to 2 billion in the next 30 years. A staggering 1 in 10 at-risk adults are victims of abuse, neglect, and exploitation. The IACP will join with key stakeholders to develop roll call training, investigative protocols, and victim support services. This measure has already received a grant from the U.S. Department of Justice, and I've asked our own Georgia GBI Director, Vernon Keenan, and Division of Aging Services Manager, Pat King, to co-host this important work. Also, the President of the State Attorney General's Association, Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt, is making this a priority and will work with us to develop and promote this important effort. Vernon, thank you for agreeing to take this on. As critical as these initiatives are, nothing is more important today than public trust. Whether the topic is terrorism in Jerusalem, cybercrime in The Hague, or traditional policing issues in Dubai or the Caribbean, look behind the technology, look behind the terrorism or the traditional crime, and we're still dealing with people in a community. And community trust is critical to the success of any investigation. Public trust has been the cornerstone and a stated principle of contemporary policing since 1829. In the past, some agencies in the United States and indeed across the globe have been indifferent to civil rights in their quest to solve crimes and protect their citizens. Others permitted the physical assault or murder of citizens of a different race or ethnic group. None of these actions occurred in a vacuum, but rather reflected the popular will of its citizens and in some cases the governing laws of that jurisdiction. Regretfully, the role of some law enforcement agencies in these acts of violence or civil rights violation is deeply checkered. Like everyone in this room, I'm proud of my profession, but I believe these events represent our darkest hours. The institutional memory of those unjust events have faded and are unknown to our police officers serving today. But it's long been recognized that attitudes and traditions about life are passed on from generation to generation. In the United States, citizens of color, particularly African Americans, in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, can speak of lynching and terror. And that oral history is passed on to succeeding generations, which has resulted in a pattern of distrust between the police and some of the communities they serve. Undoubtedly, some will ask, why should the police discuss or acknowledge outrageous actions committed by a generation or individuals long gone or dead? In the same breath, those in minority communities may believe any attempt to correct this situation is just another hollow effort to gloss over centuries of unfairness and cruelty. The fact is, law enforcement institutions responsible in some of these instances are still here. And like it or not, the officers serving today bear the burden of that history. For some communities, such as my own, LaGrange, Georgia, an acknowledgement and apology was necessary to help aid in addressing the wounds of the past, helping us understand how injustices in the past affect and influence the present, which can undermine much-needed partnerships that ensure police are effective and communities and our officers are safe. This evening, I'm pleased to announce IACP's Trust Initiative. This measure will be partially funded by the $1 million Michael Jordan Grant. Its goal is to provide support and resources for police leaders who must engage with communities that carry the mistrust of the past into the present. To that end, I'm pleased to announce that, among others, the following police chiefs from Indio, California, Ferguson, Missouri, Albany, New York, Fort Morgan, Colorado, St. Paul, Minnesota, and Balad, India, will play an important role in creating this global trust-building initiative. We can't change the historic facts, but we can change the consequences of history by building stepping stones of trust within communities affected by a history of prejudice. I look forward to being a part of that important work. For over 20 years, I've flown into Washington, D.C. for police-related events. As each flight approaches Reagan National Airport, I shift in my seat so through the window I can see the various monuments erected to honor our departed service members. They're honorable reminders of the sacrifice of our fellow citizens made for our country and for each of us. First is the Pentagon, and of course the memories of 9/11 and of the 184 people killed there on that date, along with the first responders that went to the aid of the injured. Looking beyond the Pentagon, Arlington Cemetery. And across the Potomac River is the Lincoln Memorial, honoring our 16th president and commander-in-chief of the Union forces during the Civil War. A war that saw more American dead soldiers than World War I and World War II combined. A war with a maiming rate and injury rate so severe that the state of Mississippi, 1 year after the Civil War ended, spent 20% of its budget on artificial limbs. 3,700 miles from the Lincoln Memorial in central London is the National Police Memorial, with over 4,000 names of fallen officers engraved on its panels. 3,900 miles from London in Israel is the Israeli Police Memorial, and 4,900 miles from Israel and Singapore is the Police Heritage Center. And of course, there are many more throughout the world. Less than 2 miles from the Lincoln Memorial is Judiciary Square, home to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial. Sadly, with the rate at which names are being added to the memorial, the panels are expected to be filled by 2050. Presently listed are 21,183 law enforcement officers who have died in the line of duty throughout our nation's history. During each visit, I seek out 4 names personal to me. In closing, I would like to acknowledge their sacrifice. Roger Coursey. I graduated with Roger in 1974 from the Wyoming Law Enforcement Academy. We remained good friends until an armed robber's bullets ended his life over 2 decades ago. Another close friend, Robert Van Allen, tethered himself to his patrol vehicle. He waited out in the middle of a flooded roadway to rescue several people. Bob got several back to safety, but as he carried a 6-year-old, both were swept to their death by the rising water in the swift current of the flash flood. A fellow officer I worked with in Macon, P.K. Jones, killed in a vehicle accident while responding to an officer needs assistance call. And Justin Kane, a LaGrange police officer. He too died in a traffic accident. While at the memorial, I can observe loved ones lost in their own thoughts as they stare at the etched names or trace a name on a piece of shadow paper with a pencil. It's a stark reminder of the continued sacrifices of those families. There are 4 quotations located within the memorial. One quote, I believe, is the particular currency of our fallen officers. It states, "It's not how these officers died that made them heroes, it's how they lived." Across the globe, we honor our fallen colleagues and their sacrifice by our fidelity and commitment to service. And it's that particular currency that's important as we lead our profession together. I thank each and every one of you here this evening, and those that are not, for giving me the opportunity to lead with you our profession. Thank you.
Please join me again in congratulating President Dekmar.